Russian troops have gained back some momentum and are advancing towards the center of Bakhmut, after months of clashes for control of the embattled eastern Ukrainian city, according to the latest intelligence update. Russian progress in and around the town has been largely stalled since late March, the UK's Defense Ministry said on Friday. Bakhmut has endured months of heavy fighting between Ukrainian and Russian troops, with both sides committed to controlling the ravaged settlement. The battle for Bakhmut has been heavy on both sides, with the chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, calling the battle for the town an orgy of carnage for Russian forces. Video footage shows the 45th Separate Artillery Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the Bakhmut direction destroying the Russian invaders' infantry fighting vehicles and field ammunition depots. The operator captured the moment when the enemy BMP, laden with ammunition, arrived to be unloaded at the warehouse, and the bombardment was carried out by the Ukrainians. After several explosions, the BMP caught fire and then began detonating the ammunition inside. Meanwhile, fighters of the Ukrainian Armed Forces managed to occupy the positions of the Russian occupiers in a pine forest in the Lymansky, Kreminsky direction. This was reported by the Telegram channel Donbass Operative, published the corresponding video. A short clip was captured by Ukrainian troops who, with the words, "We are taking positions," tore the trophy flag from the LPR's pseudo-formation. Russian invaders continue to seize new territories in the Bakhmut region. At the same time, competition between Wagner's private military companies and the regular Russian army over responsibility for these tactical successes is growing. This, among other things, was reported by the American Institute for the Study of War in its latest report on the Russo-Ukrainian War. In turn, domestic military analysts and authoritative compilers of the frontline map Deep State noted the retreat of the armed forces of Ukraine in the city itself. Bakhmut has been Ukraine's longest and bloodiest battle. They have waged a war of attrition for months, and the city has gained great symbolic importance, although analysts say it is of little strategic value. Russian mercenaries Wagner had spearheaded the attack and claimed Monday they had captured Bakhmut town hall. But Wagner chief Yevgeny Prigozhin said his troops were still suffering losses. The war has been ravaging armies and depleting resources on both sides for over a year. Ukraine has spent a lot of its troops defending cities that are not of strategic importance, said Alexander Kramchikin, an independent military analyst in Moscow. A graphic video shows Ukrainian troops storming Russian trenches near Bakhmut, attacking with tanks as well as foot soldiers. Drone footage, shared on the official Facebook account of Ukraine's 5th Separate Assault Brigade, shows Ukrainian troops in a coordinated assault on Russian positions in the town of Ivanivsk, west of Bakhmut. In the video, a tank is seen rolling into a ditch through the barren landscape before firing several rounds. The tanks then quickly backed away and away, where an infantry fighting vehicle, IFV, stopped with Ukrainian troops on board. Ukrainian troops continued to bombard the trenches, firing from IFV machine guns and using rocket launchers to fire missiles. In a different light, the Ukrainians drastically rationed their ammunition as stocks ran low, with the army now firing a fraction of their previous artillery in the war. The revelations followed a warning from NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg, who said the prolonged and intense fighting in Ukraine was depleting ammunition faster than the West could supply it. According to a report by the Washington Post, Ukraine fires around 7,700 rounds per day, roughly one every 6 seconds. An artillery platoon, 59th Motorized Brigade in eastern Ukraine, fired 1, 2 or none per day as opposed to more than 20 or 30 per previous day. We didn't have a lot of ammunition, so we didn't have much work to do, one commander told the Post. Meanwhile, British military intelligence said on Friday that Russian forces were threatening a key supply route to Bakhmut, the focus of their months-long offensive, which Ukraine says was maintained to weaken the invaders before its counter-offensive. The Ukrainian military said they were holding out in the town, but the situation was difficult. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported on April 9 that Russia had lost 178,150 troops in Ukraine since the start of the full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes the 470 casualties suffered by Russian forces over the last 24 hours. Russian troops shelled Kherson Oblast 71 times over the last 24 hours. Regional Governor Alexander Prokudin reported in April. According to him, a total of 495 shells were fired across Kherson Oblast, hitting residential areas, power lines, and a grain terminal near the town of Berislav. Russian troops pushed to the east bank of the river, from where they have since shelled the liberated territory, regularly resulting in the deaths and injuries of civilians. Spokesperson for Ukraine's Southern Command, Natalia Humeniuk, said on April 2 that Russian troops were changing their attack tactics in southern Ukraine. According to Humeniuk, Russian troops were forced to turn to airstrikes in the area because Ukrainian troops had successfully targeted Russian firing positions in a 30-kilometer strip on the Russian-controlled eastern bank of the Dnipro. Although the fighting has spilled over into major Ukrainian cities, including Kiev, Odessa, Kherson, and most recently in Bakhmut, the Russian military has suffered a number of setbacks, including a lack of ammunition and proper leadership and troop shortages. Still, the Russian military is supported by the Kremlin-backed Wagner Group, a paramilitary unit founded by Yevgeny Prigozhin, an ally of Putin. Prigozhin announced last month that more than 5,000 former prisoners had been released since last summer, after fulfilling their contracts with the group, according to the independent news website Meduza. Meanwhile, more than 50,000 prisoners have been recruited by the Wagner Group during the winter of 2022, according to Russia behind bars.